Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to Marvel Realm of Champions. In this video, we have a tier list for you. We're going to go ahead and break down the different champions, and we are going to separate them by weapons, and that's how I've kind of put this tier list together. So we're going to go ahead and dive into all of that. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel, you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Just a quick reminder, all the links to my social media are in the description below, so definitely check that out. All right, so when it comes to this tier list, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I truly appreciate the support. If you take a look at past top 10s and farming guides and things like that, I use Excel spreadsheets. I really don't have skills in the area of infographics and things like that, but I can do a spreadsheet. So that's what I do. I put spreadsheets together. So that's how I have organized this. Also, it's a little bit small, but what I did do with this is when we take a look at the tier list, we are going to be taking a look at the 7 champions and the different weapons that they have. So I have separated, you got like Staff Storm and Wand Storm, you've got Laser Iron Legionnaire, you've got Drone Iron Legionnaire, so all of that's been separated out on here. Now, when you take a look at this spreadsheet, or this tier list, I do have it just basic, A, B, C, D, A being the best, D being at the bottom of the list there. I am staying away from S tier and God tier type characters or classifications because the game is really, really new. It's less than a month old at the time of this recording, and we've got plenty of characters, and we've got many years of this game to go and add to this, those types of columns and things like that to this tier list. So we're starting off very basic right now, and as tier lists go, things can move around month to month. So this will be something that I will update on a monthly basis. Also, just a quick reminder, these are my experiences, these are my opinions, and what I have learned playing each one of these different characters in the different game modes that we are in the game. And I've come up with what I feel is a decent list, a decent tier list, and where I have each one of these champions slotted. All right. I think that's enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump into this right here. I'm not going to talk about every single one of them. There's going to be character videos and things like that where we can dive into them, but let's go ahead and take a look at the list. Starting with the D tier right now, we only have one champion in there, and that's Web Warrior using the Gatling shooters. The Gatling shooters, I think for me, the reason why I'm not a huge fan of it is I really don't like the mechanics of that. A lot of the moves, a lot of the abilities within that, you got to be a little bit closer. I like being a Web Warrior, staying a little bit further away. It does have some shock damage and things like that. It's an interesting weapon. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I don't see a lot of it in the arena or any game mode that I have through co-op or PvP either. It's just not one that I feel is very effective. And from what I've seen in the game, I don't see a lot of people feeling that it's very effective either. So that's the only one in D tier. We do have a C tier with Black Panther with the Vibranium Claws and Iron Legionnaire with the Super Laser. The Laser Iron Legionnaire, I don't know, in my opinion, is a little bit clunky. You can do some pretty decent damage, and I see a lot of Iron Legionnaires with laser unloading on the Bodox. I think the move list, the reason why I don't have him down in the D list is because I think the move list that is consistent between the Laser Iron Legionnaire and the Drone is pretty good. You have the flying. The flying definitely helps with moving quicker. You have a stun when you come down. You can also fly. This is kind of frustrating, but maybe it's something that we'll see when we get more flying champions in here. We got Thor coming, so I'm sure he's gonna fly. Maybe we'll see. But you fly and you can hold that circle. You can hold off the other team getting control of that circle and downing your Bodoc just by flying there. And then you can come down. Everybody's pretty close to the center. You can come down and then cause a stun there and do some additional damage there. So the basic moveset and everything of the Iron Legionnaire is good. I like it. Which is why I don't have him further down. I don't have him in the D tier because I think he's still very useful. I just don't think the laser is all that useful. Again, with these tier lists and the experiences that I have seen and I have experienced with each one of these characters, skill is a huge thing in this game, and how you play and who you play with. Are you playing in a pickup group? Are you playing with a structured team? Are you communicating in some way through some sort of chat? All of these factors come into play and could move any one of these characters around. You can give Sorcerer Supreme, as you can see up there at the top, you can give Sorcerer Supreme to somebody who has absolutely no idea how to play her, and she may come across as just being trash, but she's not, I guarantee it. All right, Black Panther, Vibranium Claws. When it comes to the two different weapons for Black Panther, I just feel the claws are more inferior. You still have some nice bleeds and some nice shields and things like that. I don't feel it's a very effective weapon, or as an effective weapon as the spear is. I think the spear is absolutely great. So those are the only two that I have in the C tier right now. We have more in the B tier. So Hulk Hammer, I think arguably is B tier. There could be some argument being made to move him up into A tier, but I do have them separated for a reason. So Hammer does some nice AoE damage. It has a special where you come down 3 different times and you're following. So when somebody's trying to run away, you're following them, and it's hard for them to get away from you, and you do some massive damage. You have his Enrage, which is absolutely awesome. And the different synergies with each one of these, we're not taking synergies at all into consideration here, at least for right now in this first iteration of this tier list. Synergies also play a huge factor in how each one of these plays because of the benefits that you get from each of these different types of synergies. So the Hammer, I think, definitely B tier. Web Warrior, Web Shooters. Web Warrior is one that I really didn't play a whole lot with until, probably until global launch. And I've been playing a lot of Web Warrior, and I really like him. I like staying far away. I like the Web Shooter's distance. I like the Web Shooter's route. I like bringing a building down on people and causing that AoE damage. You can move quickly. You got multiple dodges. Black Panther also has multiple dodges. I think they're the only 2 champions in the game right now that can dodge twice, where everybody else can only dodge once before you have to wait for that bar to refill. So that's very useful as well. Great champion in my opinion. I don't think he's A tier material, but definitely a great champion in the game. Super Soldier, Vibranium Shield. That's the one that you throw and it can bounce from champion to champion or opponent to opponent. Very different between that weapon and the Arc Shield. I think the Vibranium Shield is decent. I think the move list for the Vibranium Shield is okay. I don't think there's anything really spectacular to it. I feel that the Super Soldier, I use the Vibranium Shield more in PvE content than I do in PvP content. However, I have used both the Arc Shield and the Vibranium Shield in all scenarios. But so that Super Soldier there in the B tier. Black Panther, Vibranium Spear, I think is great. This is an awesome weapon. You have the shields and stuff as well. You have this AoE, so it's SP3. It's her special 3 that lays down this area of effect type zone. You can see the blue lines that grid out on the ground, and as you stay in that shield, you get benefits and buffs for as long as you stay in that shield and as long as that area stays active. So you get bonuses there. So you have the freedom to move around. It's a nice bleed in there as well. You got some nice synergies that will play on that bleed, also on the crit chance. It's a great weapon, and you can do some massive damage. I've seen people play Black Panther that just totally destroy anybody they come up against pretty quick. And so when you do see somebody out there and they're hanging back, I've seen some teams completely center around their whole tactic is centered around that Black Panther. So if you like Black Panther, if you've tried her, but you haven't had the opportunity to use the spear, then definitely try it once you have that opportunity. Black Panther is really good, does some great damage. Iron Legionnaire drones, I love the drones. So again, the moveset and everything is very similar. The drones, what I like about the drones here is you have this wide area, and it's just this barrage of attacks that goes straight ahead. You can aim it, but it has this wide area of effect that causes massive damage, and it just does a great job. Like I was saying, you can fly to hold that center, come down and stun, and then you can let your drones off and just completely obliterate your opponent there, depending on how much damage your drones can do, depending how your opponents are set up with gear and things like that. But just does a great job. I think SP2 is, or the heavy, I think, is great for this one as well. SP2, I think they've done a great job with the drones. I think if I was before the alternate weapons came, Iron Legionnaire was definitely at the bottom of the list, but drones are absolutely awesome. All right. Also, you have that net that you can bring down that slows and damages your opponents as well. And if you've been into an arena match with like 3 Iron Legionnaires who have drones and they just blanket the arena floor with that, they just it's devastating. And it's great. It's great. So if you have an opportunity, definitely play around with the drones for the Iron Legionnaire. All right, the A tier. Now, Sorcerer Supreme, Orb, and Book, or Tome. So I've used, as far as the weapons go, I've used what their names are in the game. But Book Sorcerer and Orb Sorcerer Supreme are absolutely fantastic. You have shields, you have heals, you have nice AoEs. With the Orb, you have a very direct, single-targeted stun or lock. Now, when you do that, you can't do anything, so your team obviously needs to keep an eye on what's going on with you, and whoever you lock in place, they need to drill down very quickly, and then you can move to your next opponent. But Orb also is much more precise than the Book, so there's a degree of difficulty in Orb that is much higher than if you just have the Book. With the Book, with the rune on the ground that does the damage. It's a nice area of effect, and it just works very well. So both of those, the Sorcerer Supreme is fantastic, has been fantastic since early beta, and I think everybody's been having a great time with her. Hulk Gauntlets, I love this guy. With Hulk Gauntlets, you got a couple different stuns. You have you have your SP3 that you can aim and come down. I mean, it's very easy to move your target, find out the area, jump, and come down and stun. You also have a punch. You punch one of your opponents up against one of the a wall or one of the obstacles in the arena. It causes a stun there as well. You've got the Enrage there. I mean, it is a fantastic weapon. The Hulk is awesome. I really enjoy playing the Hulk with the gauntlets. And if you've got them, so if you got Hulk Gauntlets, you've got Sorcerer Supreme with an Orb, or you've got Storm that can freeze people in place, there's so many different combinations that you can put together with this, where you get multiple stuns. You can stun lock the opposing team. It's just a great character and a great weapon to use. So Hulk definitely in A tier. Storm, Staff, and Wand. So the difference there is, are you going to be Blizzard Storm or are you going to be Lightning Storm? Lightning Storm can do some massive damage. There's a nice AoE area that you can move around and cause damage. You can follow enemies around. When the circle shrinks and you pop that off, then your opponents have no choice, unless they're going to stay outside the circle. They have no choice but to be inside there, and then that's pretty devastating as well. So it does some massive damage there. The Blizzard is a little bit more... It's not as direct, right? It's a little bit slow. So you gotta first you have to freeze, and then or freeze or frost or whatever. I can't remember the term right now, but there's 2 effects that have to go in that come into play before they freeze in place, and they can't do anything. And when you do your Blizzard, you can't move. Your stationary and ranged characters can go ahead and fire at you and take you out while you're stuck doing the Blizzard. So just some strategy and coordination with your team and everything there as well. But both Storms are absolutely fantastic. Again, another character that has been great since beta. And then Super Soldier, the newest character, the newest champion to join the game is Super Soldier and the Arc Shield. The Arc Shield is great. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about each one of them, but I guess I am. Arc Shield is absolutely fantastic. What I love about the Arc Shield is you have a stun, you have a nice AoE. It's kind of a delayed AoE, right? So a nice combo is your SP2 and then your SP3. Especially in a group of enemies. It does work well with Onslaught, because your SP2 is going to stun your target, but then slow targets that are around your main target, which is why once you do that, you hit your SP3. You're going to do that AoE indent in the ground where the ground's all cracked up, and then after a couple seconds, it's going to blow, and it's going to cause some massive massive damage. You get your crit chance up there. This guy does so much damage. He is a lot of fun. He's very much a different take than the Hulk. He doesn't take as many hits. You can build him up a little bit that way. However, he's much more of an offensive tank, in my opinion. I love his shield and the way his shield reacts, soaks up damage, and then respawns back with some with this beam that goes back. But also there's a synergy set that takes advantage of you using your shield and gives you rush, which gives you benefits and bonuses and buffs based on the type of synergy that you have. So there's some options there as well. Again, this tier list is based specifically off of non-synergies, at least for right now, and what I feel about each one of these characters with their base moves with both their primary and their alternate weapon. That's where everybody has landed. Very curious on your thoughts. What do you think about where I have everybody slated? Who's your favorite champion in the game? And who's your favorite team to team up with? That is what I had for you today. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.